In the gated calm of Fairmont Crest, where appearances are currency and secrets are collateral, a different kind of launch has been quietly engineered to turn story into substance. The pivot of a fictional handbag label into a real-world product drop that folds fan emotion into measurable demand. Long before the sirens and whispers around the abduction that rerouted personal plans and narrative momentum, Chelsea and Kat had already sketched the first outlines of their venture. A compact clutch designed to read as much like a calling card as a carryall. The on-screen arc framed their partnership as a study in complementary instincts, one eye on design, the other on delivery, only for a crisis with Allison to freeze the runway in mid-stride. What followed was a deft recalibration that used the pause not as a void but as a springboard. A social rollout that told viewers, in no uncertain terms, that while the rescue within the story was imminent, the recovery beyond it would be marked by something you could actually hold. That promise arrived not in rumor but in receipts, with the show's official account teeing up a clear call to action, a date, and a direct path to purchase so that anticipation could convert to ownership as the chapters turned on screen. The strategy hinged on collapsing the distance between a soap's daily cadence and a modern drop model. A teaser video on the show's social feed pressed urgency with playful confidence and pointed fans to a live link, anchoring the message to a clear release window rather than a vague coming soon. The caption language was deliberately kinetic, translating the adrenaline of a cliffhanger into retail momentum and ending with an unambiguous availability marker that set expectations around timing. By tying discovery, desire, and transaction into a single swipe path and tagging the creative partner that would fulfill orders, the production avoided the common trap of fictional merch that feels ornamental rather than operational. The post did more than announce a product. It taught the audience how, when, and where to act, and it did so in the same breath as the weekly story beats that had already made the brand name feel familiar. Substantively, the first drop is a study in recognizability and usability. The design language is tight. Two two-tone options that telegraph personality without sacrificing versatility, set off by a polished hardware suite and a crisp emblem worked with the unmistakable mark of the brand, complete with the small but meaningful flourish of an EST 2025 timestamp that situates the object inside the show's timeline. The materials brief is intentionally tactile for both camera and hand, using soft vegan leather with a denim look that photographs cleanly, plays nicely with wardrobe choices across day and night, and opens to a pop interior for a miniature theater of color whenever the clasp lifts. Importantly, for a soap audience that spans ages and budgets, the price lands in a sweet spot that signals quality without scaring off impulse buyers, and the transaction layer is anchored by a partner site that consolidates selection, stock, and shipping in a single pane. The campaign keeps its promises concrete. A real date for availability, a central hub to buy, and a public confirmation that the television prop and the item in your cart share the same DNA. Behind the scenes, the manufacturing and merchandising muscle comes from a collaborator with a track record for turning sketches into SKUs and behind-the-scenes reels into trust. The designer's own channels have been seeding the vocabulary of the bag's soft vegan leather. A denim-textured finish, hot pink interior, gold accents, while walking fans through the path from inspiration to prototype, the sort of granular process content that validates quality claims better than any static glam shot. This is where cross-platform storytelling earns its keep. Films of pattern pieces and hardware choices, cuts of sample iterations as they edge toward final form, and short form reveals that pair the language of craft with the language of style. In parallel, additional posts and clips reinforce that the partnership is official and integrated, not a post hoc licensing play, giving the drop the authority of a studio-level tie-in and the agility of a boutique brand's launch cycle. From an editorial lens, the timing reads as both narrative service and business sense. Within the world of the show, the delay forced by the abduction naturally reframes the debut as an act of reclamation. The first public milestone after an escape, the outward sign that rebuilding is possible and that the line Chelsea and Kat drew together will not be broken by a detour through harm. Beyond the world of the show, the pause creates a countdown that is legible and bankable. A date concentrates attention. A countdown converts it. The retail hub deploys that instrument precisely, pairing an early access capture with a visual timer and a compact catalog view that previews colorways and sets a unified price point. By embedding the sign-up and the story cues close together, the campaign ensures that the emotional logic of the plot feeds directly into the transactional logic of a drop, so that when the episode credits roll, the energy has somewhere to go besides speculation threads. The specifics matter because they make the bridge from fiction to reality sturdy. 2 toneways, 1 pink forward, 1 blue forward, are simple to communicate, easy to imagine against actual wardrobes, and distinct enough to encourage pair or gift buys. The emblem and hardware selections supply a little sparkle without tipping into costume, aligning with a daytime audience that often looks for pieces that travel between office, errands, and evening. The interior color choice is not accidental. It is a stylist's trick to create a micro-reveal every time the bag opens, a flourish that reads well in close-ups on camera and delights owners in daily use. By openly tagging the designer manufacturer and reaffirming the drop timing in captions and copy, the show signals accountability. There is a name you can follow, a site you can browse, and a date that will not slip in silence. And because the narrative has been careful to position Chelsea and Kat as builders rather than passive wearers, the product story never feels bolted on. It reads as a natural extension of their shared thesis about work, loyalty, and aesthetic clarity. In a genre that lives or dies by engagement, the cross-media choreography also seeds a measurable feedback loop. Social posts framed as run, don't walk, ride the meme velocity of a phrase ubiquitous in fashion drops. And they come fused with a link structure that keeps the user journey linear rather than sending fans hunting through a maze of storefronts. The show's account, cast-adjacent accounts, and the brand partners' feeds echo one another, ensuring that if a fan meets the message anywhere on a reel about a brewing rivalry, a post teasing the next Fairmont Crest shock, or a designer's diary of what it takes to land on a final silhouette, the refrain is the same. The bag is real, the date is set, the path to purchase is live. That repetition does more than sell. It stabilizes expectation at a moment when the plot itself is intentionally unstable, making the bag a small anchor in a sea of cliffhangers. The commercial terms are unusually transparent for a TV-tied product, and that transparency builds permission to dream a little bigger. A clear price communicates respect. A named collaborator communicates credibility. An EST 2025 mark communicates continuity beyond a single twist. Those pillars create room to imagine what a second wave might look like without cannibalizing the first. A mini crossbody that carries the same emblem DNA for hands-free days, a slim wallet that nests inside the clutch for modular upsell, a tonal variant that leans into charcoal and graphite for a sharper, evening-leaning audience, or even a capsule co-signed in universe by another character whose arc touches the brand. But the path to any of that, the article must note, runs through simple operational excellence on this first drop. Clean fulfillment, honest lead times, responsive customer service, and thoughtful restock communication if sell-through outpaces forecasts. Those are not glamorous details, yet they are the difference between a collectible and a curiosity, between a headline and a habit. For viewers who have watched the abduction storyline with held breath, the bag's arrival carries a symbolic charge. It is, in miniature, an argument that momentum can be recovered, that craft can outlast chaos. When the episodes pivot from peril to aftermath, when Chelsea finally steps back into a room where her agency is intact and the people closest to her can stop guessing and start helping, the handoff to the brand's rescheduled celebration will feel earned rather than opportunistic, precisely because it was seeded so carefully. The premiere messaging never used trauma to shock sell. It used resolve to invite participation. That tone aligns with the show's broader ethic about community resilience inside and beyond Fairmont Crest, and it grants the product a layer of meaning that exceeds its silhouette. A clutch can obviously carry keys and cards. Here, it also carries proof that a story can leave the soundstage and still hold together in your hand. All told, the ChelseaKat launch reads like a blueprint for how daytime can thrive in a world of instant commerce without sacrificing narrative integrity. Set the hook with a plot that respects character logic, schedule your retail beats to harmonize with story beats, let fans see the hands that built the item they're being asked to buy, and place your promises where they can be audited, on a partner site with dates, details, and dollars, on a feed with captions that specify the when and the how, on reels and clips that trace the stitch lines from sketch to screen. As the calendar creeps toward the release window, the campaign's most important work is already done. The audience understands what the product is, why it exists in-world, and how to make it theirs out-of-world. The rest is execution and the quiet satisfaction, for those who have invested in Chelsea and Kat since the first mock-ups, of seeing ambition survive a storm and debut on time anyway.